There is a lot of confusion around the difference between leadership and acting controlling in a relationship. And this misunderstanding is costing good men their marriage. And today I want to put an end to it. On today's video, I'm going to cover the key differences between acting controlling and being a leader in your relationship. And I'm going to give you 3 actions that you can take today to make you a more effective leader in your relationship. Now, with all that being said, let's dive right in. The definition of being controlling in the relationship is where one partner seeks to assert authority and dominance in the relationship. There's desire to manage the thoughts, actions, and decisions of the other person. Now, let me tell you a little story about Jeremy. He had all the traits of being controlling when he enrolled in my ARC system. Jeremy loved his wife more than anything, but he was an anxious wreck anytime his wife would go out with her friends, and he was acutely aware that his behavior was killing the marriage. He was exhibiting all the traits of a controlling person. Number 1, he was monitoring. He was texting his wife throughout the day to check in with her to see how she was doing. He was tracking her location so he knew where she was at all times, and when she'd go out with her friends, he was calling her and texting her to see when she was coming home. Number 2, he was imposing rules. He was dictating when she should come home from work, who she could spend time with, and when she went out with her friends, he insisted that he would pick her up. And number 3, he was being an emotional terrorist. If she wasn't acting the way that he wanted and that he expected, he would withdraw his love and give her the silent treatment. Now, I'm going to come back to Jeremy's story a little bit later, but let's first get a bit of a better understanding of why somebody acts controlling. It all stems from a deep sense of insecurity. Somebody who's acting controlling has had trauma in their past. Something has happened to them that has made them start trying to control their partner. More than likely, they've been with somebody who cheated on them or who wasn't trustworthy, broke their trust. And now what they do to try and mitigate this is they act controlling. They try and control the person to ensure that this doesn't happen. But here's the crazy thing, guys. The more controlling we act, the more we push the other person away. So it's like a vicious cycle, and it turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're worried about your partner cheating and you're checking in on her all the time, you're literally driving her into somebody else's arms. So you need to stop this. So now that we know what controlling looks like, let's have a look at leadership. Leadership is the ability to lead, to influence, and to guide other individuals and groups. So the key difference here, guys, between leading and from controlling is leading is all about influence, while controlling, that is all about authority and dominance. Now, I guarantee you, if you're not leading in your marriage and in your relationship, it's only a reflection of how you're showing up in your life. Leadership is all about direction, drive, and purpose. And I guarantee you, if you don't have it in your marriage, it's because you're not leading yourself. Ask yourself, how well are you leading yourself? Do you have a vision for the future? Do you know where you want to go? Are you clear on your desires, your dreams for the future? And I guarantee you, you probably don't. And this lack of clarity and drive in your life trickles down into your relationship. It starts off with you just focusing on your work and then relinquishing your power in the relationship to your wife. So you used to make decisions together, and all of a sudden you're just like, I won't bother. I'll let her book the holidays. I'll let her sort out what we're going to do this weekend. So it's a slow process of you giving up your power. And over time, if you're not leading your marriage and you're not leading yourself, your wife is just going to be forced into taking charge. She's forced into her masculine energy. She loses trust in you. She loses her faith in you. And this has a really detrimental effect on the marriage. She pulls away. She's closed off. That really nice, bubbly, soft, sexy, girly side is gone. So in essence, guys, what I'm saying here is you first need to lead yourself before you can lead your wife. And as soon as you start leading your life, your wife starts to feel safe. She sees that you've got a direction, a vision. She can relax. She's not taking control anymore because you're in the driver's seat of your life. This is where she opens up, becomes more herself. She's able to step into her feminine, to be that girly girl again, that bubbly side that you fell in love with. And when this happens, this is where you get to have that lovely, warm, deep, intimate, passionate relationship that you want. If you're ready to take leadership in your marriage and you don't want to waste another minute, book yourself in for a free consultation with me and my team. You can find the link down below in the description. Now let's get back to the story of my client Jeremy and how he was pushing his wife away. I'm now going to share with you the 3 actions that Jeremy took to attract his wife back into the marriage and eradicate the controlling behaviors and take leadership. Number 1, take responsibility. Now, when I started working with Jeremy, he was complaining about how his wife was behaving. She was coming home late, wasn't telling him when she was going to be home, And he was right. The way she was behaving wasn't okay. But guys, you got to take responsibility for your actions, for your thoughts, for your emotions, for your behaviors. The other stuff is on your wife. And if you're completely focused on your wife and you're blaming her and getting angry and blowing up, this is just making the situation worse. Remember, as a leader, you want to set the standards in the relationship high. And the way you're going to do that is by taking responsibility for how you show up. Even when she's not getting back to you and when she's being disrespectful, that doesn't make it okay that it's happening, but it doesn't mean that you need to match her. You need to set the standards high, and by doing this, you're the role model and she'll follow suit. Number 2, learn to regulate your emotions. Before Jeremy came into my program, he was an emotional wreck. If his wife was just 10 minutes late from work, he would absolutely blow up. He'd be an anxious mess. He was all over the place. This is not okay, guys. This is being reactive, reacting to what's happening externally. We should not give anybody the power to affect our inner peace. Now, as leaders, we don't want to be reacting, we want to be responding, which means we can regulate our emotions, take a moment to assess what's going on, decide, do we need to respond to this, and how best to respond. Now, most people will just shoot from the hip, get emotional, and then regret what they have to say. So what's key here, guys, is you need to be able to regulate your emotions so you can be grounded, because when you're grounded, you can decide how best to respond. You're not being so reactive. Now, I teach the most holistic approach to processing your emotions so you can stay grounded no matter what the situation you're going through in my free masterclass. If you haven't seen that yet, check out my free masterclass. Now on to point number 3, get direction. Remember, being a leader requires you to lead yourself. It means you need to have a vision for your life, to have a clear goal, to have a purpose. But up until this point, you haven't had one, and I'm going to help you with that today. So you need to get clear on who you are, what you stand for, and what your values are. Now, this isn't the most easy thing to do, so I've created a free cheat sheet. It's 8 questions that's going to get you really clear on who you are, what you stand for, and your values, so that you can start showing up as that strong, independent man that your wife needs, that's showing leadership. Check out the cheat sheet down below in the description. Now, if you got value out of this video, smash the like button and watch this next video on the 5 tips to reconnect with your wife.